Welcome to Mind, Health, and Wellness with LeJune. Have some amazing, beautiful women on our panel, and it is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is Women's Health Awareness Month, as Nick just mentioned. Is also Lupus Awareness, and she is someone who was is diagnosed with lupus. So we're going to kind of talk about that, and how that impacted her mental health. Um, it has, definitely, as the month is and the year is flying by,
Mhm.
um, it is just flying. But I am definitely, definitely, definitely grateful to have you women. As always, I'm LeJune Singleton, and I am a board certified health coach, a special need and autism coach, as well as life, trauma, and childhood trauma coach and nutritional lifestyle coach. Um, and I believe in advocating, educating, and bringing awareness to the community, to women. I feel it is so important because sometimes we don't know, and having people who do know to put things in perspective for us to make changes and to grow is so necessary for us, especially in this climate and in this life of trying to navigate your mental, your emotional, and physical and nutritional health. So we're going to move over to Coach Tamika Lloyd from Lord Health Revolution.
Hello, everyone. I'm also a board certified health and wellness coach, a relationship coach. I help Gen X women and baby boomers reclaim their life, which is a very holistic approach, all areas mind, body, and spirit. And I am so happy to be here with one of my best friends and the other beautiful shades of brown on this podcast. Let's hear it. So thank you for having me.
Yes, I mean, I am among some beautiful brown women. New York in the house, Jersey in the house. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Gonna move down to the brainstorming bestie, Nicola Prosperous.
Yes.
Can't hear you.
Muted.
Can't hear you, boo. Can't hear you, Nick. Can't hear you.
I said thank you for the introduction. And yes, we are just chocolate drops, just being fabulous on here, and I love it. Hi everyone. I am Nicola Prosperous, the Brainstorming Bestie. I work with high figure entrepreneurs that literally have found some success. They taste it and realize that it's not enough. I bridge the gap between what your logical mind thinks it has to do and what your soul is actually here to do on this human experience. And yeah, I'm excited to have this conversation, this roundtable with these brilliant, beautiful, dope women and entrepreneurs, and just get real about some things.
All right, we're gonna move to her plum, Natasha Hall.
Hi, everybody. So, I'm the founder and CEO of Her Plum. It's a feminine hygiene and wellness brand that's combining menstrual health and mental health. We are really geared in providing safe options for women to use during their cycle, but we definitely understand those internal conversations that happen in your body at all times. And so we do have monthly breathing and meditation that's 5 to 7 minutes a month to help our community with PMS, PMDD, cycle anxiety, and postpartum. And so interlinking the two really helps us to support our community and making period care more holistic approach as opposed to just a product. So I'm glad to be here with all the lovely women on this call, and I'm excited to start this conversation and help in our community.
All right, so we're gonna start with Nick, since Nick, it is lupus awareness as well, and I think when it comes to lupus, a lot of people are misdiagnosed or diagnosed at a later time, and that's something you discussed on my podcast of the symptoms, the signs, everything that was going on. And luckily for you, you were diagnosed quickly opposed to others where I mentioned I've had people on who said it has been 12 years, 20 years before they found out they had lupus, and just the mindset around it. So what did that look like for you?
I mean, for me, because my whole body got inflamed. I mean, literally from every joint, every place in my body got inflamed. So the doctors pretty was like, okay, this is definitely some form of lupus. So for me, it took about 3 years, 3 to 4 years with the major flare up that I had, right? And just after with just constant pain. But in hindsight, I was actually dealing with lupus from the age of 9. I was misdiagnosed. So majority of my life, I was dealing with lupus. And I think me not knowing was a blessing. Me not being diagnosed at a young age was a blessing. So I'm actually glad, believe it or not, that I didn't know at 9, 10, 15, 20, 25 about lupus, because there was nothing to hold me back, even though I was feeling pain periodically. Um, so it's a weird thing. So it was a short diagnosis from the major one that I knew it was lupus and heard the word for the first time, lupus. But in hindsight, most of my life I was dealing with it.
So, with when you were diagnosed, what was your thought process? Because a lot of people, and we you actually mentioned this on um, our interview, where people take on the mindset of my, and then with that, their mindset becomes, okay, I have this, but they stop living,
Hmm.
they stop enjoying life. They get stuck and sucked into their diagnosis, which now they feel has defined who they are, which isn't who they are. It's just something that you're diagnosed with and you have to manage.
Oh my God, yes. For me, when I got the diagnosis, it was a relief because now I can put a name to what I was feeling, right? Now I can do something about it. It's really heartbreaking when you don't know what's going on with your body and your body is turning against you, right? Um, so there was a relief of getting the diagnosis of lupus, right? Now I could be proactive. Now I could say, okay, um, I have options now, right? I could research something, but I want to be very clear. I didn't get the diagnosis and was like, that's not me. Absolutely not. It was a process. I was terrified to do anything because I didn't want to do anything that caused pain. And in that time, at that time, everything seemed to cause me pain. Like I didn't understand how stress was a major like factor to a flare up. I didn't understand the process of my body and being able to understand, oh, a flare up is about to come, let me do something about it. So it took about a good 4 or 5 years for me to even be like, hold on, I am not meant to live this way. Like this is ghetto. Like God did not put me on this earth for me to die like this. So why am I living like this? And that kind of was the catalyst, or one of the catalysts that kind of got me to where I'm at today, to be like, I'm it's not mine. It's not my disease. It's not my lupus. It's just something I'm diagnosed with, you know?
I love that. All right, we're going to go to Coach Tamika because last year your glucose levels, and you worked very hard to go from 200 plus pounds to lose all this weight to reverse your diabetic diagnosis to finding out COVID side effects led to you having to take insulin occasionally or daily or however it is for you. So if you can kind of talk about that and your mindset around that for, so many people, as you know, you work with them that struggle with learning, okay, I worked so hard for something and now we're here.
I first felt defeated. Like, it's like, what is this? I reversed this almost 20 years ago. I'm doing everything right. How is it that now you're telling me I have type 1.5, and to say, you got it because you had COVID and menopause and all of these other things our bodies go through? It was defeating to me at first, because my type A personality is, okay, I can control this. Okay, I can do this. Okay, okay, okay. No, I don't need that. I'm not going to do that. And then you just see those numbers climb higher and higher and higher. And then when you get to the point where, when all day you're eating salads and your blood glucose is still going up, oh, it's a problem. That is not type 2, because if it was type 2, my blood glucose would be normal. And so it was about, I guess, kind of re identifying what that meant to me. I never claimed that I am this. I'm someone who is living with this condition, but I am not that condition. So much more to me. That's just a small part of my life. And knowing that I'm going to have to live a certain way or eat a certain way in order for me to control it is easy for me, because that's what I had to do when I had type 2 diabetes. And so, is it frustrating? Yes, because there are things that you can do when you have type 2 diabetes. You can cheat a little bit. Like, you can be like, all right, now I done had this smoothie, I done had this salad. So tonight, oh, I want to indulge in some popcorn. You can't do that with 1.5, because that indulgent is just going to send if you have just a little bit of oil, just a little bit, then you wake up and your blood glucose number is through the roof. And you're like, what did I do? Oh, because I had that olive oil. I just can't do it. So it was just about redefining how I wanted to live. And I could very well just be like, okay, I'll just take the insulin and then eat what I want. But I already know what that means. That means that later on down the line, I'm gonna have vision problems. That means later on down the line, I'm gonna have neuropathy or heart conditions or something else. And it's just not worth it to me. But it wasn't a quick mindset adjustment. So it took months of me getting out of a funk of, I did everything right. What the heck is this? So, but thank goodness, it's your tribe that holds you together. I have my husband. He's just like, oh, okay, well, I have to learn how to, because he's the cook. Thank God. I have to learn how not to saute stuff and even a little bit of olive oil. Now I have to do water saute. So he went and he just adjusted, and thank God for him. I thank God for him every day, because I always tell him, for not for him or my daughter, I would probably be dead by now, because if I had to make the food, I'd be dead. I'd be dead. That's not my strong point. It's not. So thank goodness that he was there to help me adjust. And so far, I mean, I'm on the lowest possible insulin I can have for my body weight. And I just have to know that 9 times out of 10 that I will always need it. Even though, on my mind, I just didn't hack it yet, but that's how I haven't hacked it yet. I'm at the lowest. If I'm at the lowest, that may mean. So, um, we'll see.
She makes some bomb mac and cheese. I'm just gonna say that. But anyhow. All right, Natasha had Natasha on. She talked about her experience with painful periods and cysts, and we know, especially in our community, so many women suffer from fibroids they don't understand. Okay, and I've had one removed. They were small because I was having extremely painful periods. But just, and women, I went to urgent care and I thought the woman was pregnant. And I felt bad because I was like, when is your baby due? And she was like, I'm not pregnant. And I was like, damn, she has a fibroid tumor that's showing up, making her look like she's pregnant. So, can you kind of talk about your experience behind painful periods and cysts and your transition into making products to help women in their mindset and wellness?
Yeah. So I'll actually start with the fact that I got my period at 10 years old, right? A super, super young age, where I didn't even understand my body yet. And my sister actually got her period before me. She was older than me by 15 months. And so I kind of looked to her for, what experiences are you going through? And when my experience came, I realized that I was not having the same experiences as my sister. She was having no issues at all. And where I was having all of these challenges with, starting off with again, irregular periods, abnormal cells, and then it developed into fibroids. And it was just like, what is happening to my body? And why me? I think that was really the question. What is wrong with me? Um, and it took me down this place of kind of comparing my experience with my sister's experience, right? And I was like, how can I kind of get out of this mindset of comparison, right? I had to figure out, who am I and what do I need to kind of deal with in order for me to heal myself, right? I can't say, oh, let me look at my sister and see what she's going through and then ask her the question. That's not going to help my condition, right? And so I went down this process of saying, this is my experience, but it's not mine, right? Really trying to help me separate myself from that I have fibroids and kind of go into this kind of mentality of, how can I support my body with fibroids, right? And that helped me to transition to creating a company with better products. And so on the market today, I've tried truly everything under the sun, okay? To the point where I was just like, the only option is to create my own, because I was still experiencing like the sensitivity and irritation from the products on the market. I was like, why isn't there products that are like truly tested to be safe for women to use? And so for me, it was just, let me go down this road of creating something better for my body, because I was experiencing fibroids and the clotting and the heavy periods to the point where it was like, I'm hemorrhaging basically. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this cannot be the experience that I should have. And so really it was me kind of going down this process of trial and error, really, let me move away from the disposable and kind of go the reusable route. And am I still having those same experiences? Then this, again, the irritation and sensitivity was still there. And then the cup, please. It's just too much work. Listen, I congratulate anyone that wants to use it. And listen, for me, and I used it for 3 years, but man, it's like, I need my own private bathroom. And even that is like a internal conversation that you're having with yourself to even deal with that. Right. So it's just, listen, I just want to be able to put on a safe pad that doesn't have all the, harmful substances in it, to be able to properly support my body. And that's what really HerPlum is. It's in the name, right? It's HerPlum. It's me taking control back of how I support my body, how I support my womb, what I do every day to support my mental health, because there's these internal conversations that's happening that we all have. And so it's really taking back ownership, taking back control, and saying this is what I choose for my body, as opposed to saying I'll just use whatever there is on the market because that's what there is, right? So yeah, it was a lot of internal conversation, a lot of trial and error. And I'm glad to be where I am today, where I am offering something good for women, because now they don't have to feel alone on their journey, because it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, that cup, I know a couple of people that did it, and I'm just like, first off, I'm not inserting anything in and having all that blood on my hand. And secondly, having to dig it out and empty it, that is too much for my life. And yeah, no, no. And I had a friend said it turned inside of her sideways, and I'm just like, no, I'm okay on that. So I am totally okay on that. No, no.
The cup is messy, and I just want to vouch. I use Her Plum reusable pads, and it's really good. Like, I have a few, I support it. I don't use, regular pads anymore, because I want to put good things into my body, especially as menopause is perimenopause. I'm going through that. I don't want nothing toxic. So, great product, Natasha.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes. And I definitely applaud you for creating something for women and realizing, you know what, this is these paths. And I've seen the Instagram and social media videos where they cut it and you can see all the toxins in it. And I know several friends said some of the tampons and things they used to be able to use, and I think they changed the ingredients or something in it, or the cotton or whatever, where they've said I can't even use it anymore. It gets irritated and just yeah, they're trying to kill us. They're trying to kill us. Point blank period. Just saying. Um, you mentioned something, Natasha, that I wanted us to have a discussion on because the comparison. I just saw one of my friends post something about dealing with imposter syndrome, and that is something that a lot of women deal with, especially in the workplace, with families, something that family has said to us that we're trying to really find who we are. Because if you're told that you're ugly, you're dumb, you're not good enough, and you're trying to figure out who you are, you're trying to find your mark because somebody told you this, but you're trying to prove them wrong, but at the same time you're doubting yourself. So with that, we're gonna start with Tamika. The whole comparison thing of an imposter syndrome and how it impacts mental health, and you work with many clients that deal with those things. So if you can kind of talk about that from your end.
Imposter syndrome is so real. And in some of us, it is so deep. And I remember about 10 years ago, a therapist, because I was dealing with it pretty heavy. And she said, well, what do you believe about yourself? And so I'm like, well, I believe, X, Y, and Z. And she goes, but do you really? What do you really believe? She says, you're believing your lie identity. And I'm like, what is that? She was like, the lies that somebody told you along the way, the lies that said, oh, your brown skin means that you were less than, the lie that said, oh, you know what, you got a B instead of an A, you not smart enough. That's what you believe in. So on the surface, you can tell yourself that you don't believe those things, but that's why you do it. And for me, it was comparing because I did think that I was less than. I didn't want to be better than anybody. I was just like, oh, well, look, Nick rocking that hairdo. Look, she look good. Maybe I can do that. Or look, Natasha, look how beautiful she is. She can create something. Oh, why can't I do that? So it was always looking outward. And until I started to really get rid of the distractions and look inward and figure out what I want, what I like, what I didn't like, and what made me special. That was my way of breaking through. And that's what I do with my clients, because sometimes, especially Gen X and baby boomer women, we were raised to take care of somebody else. We were raised because we had to raise our little brothers because maybe our parents, were at work, or a lot of us came from one parent households, or one of us, our identity was the wife, or identity was the mother, or identity was the sister. And so it is hard for them once you go through a divorce, or even if you're still married, and once the kids get out of the house, and then you're like, okay, well, what do I do? Well, who am I? And I find it really amazing, when they discover who they are. But I also find it very sad because 10 years ago, I just thought it was me. Everybody looked like they got their stuff together, especially, so that's why I don't be on social media too often. Everybody looked like they got themselves together. Everybody. I'm like, God, dog, I'm in here crying in the closet, and they all over there skiing in the south of France. What the hell going on? So it's like, I was like, no, I gotta stop. I gotta unfollow. I gotta, do all of that for my, mentality. So that's it was hard, and it was a struggle, and it wasn't an overnight process. And even today, sometimes you catch yourself. I'll be doing something and I have a thought, and I'll be like, nah, devil, you a lie, go on back down there, because we're not even gonna open up that, again. So I love celebrating. I've learned how to celebrate women without comparing myself to women, without comparing myself to where they are in their journey, as opposed to where I am and where I think I should be because she's over here. What she doing has nothing to do with me. Has nothing to do with me. And I do love the work. I love Gen X women and baby boomers because they are resilient. And once they get that spark to know that they matter, like, they will do the work.
All right, Natasha.
Yeah, so I'll say this: it's definitely a journey to get to the place where you're not doing the comparison, right? I think from maybe from I want to say maybe the age of 16, 17, when you're maybe even 18, starting to kind of get out of high school. That all kind of went away, and I think it was really kind of saying, oh, I don't want to be like this person, or like that person, like this person. I don't want to do that like that person. And then I think that's where I found my own identity, and I started to kind of build upon that and not listen to the outside noise of what everybody else is doing, which, to be honest, at first it was like really hard, because you're now like kind of doing this pull and tug, right? You're kind of going back into your old ways, but then trying to, do what you want to do, right? And how you live your life going forward. But I think at that point is when I kind of said, my mentality is I have to have my own identity, and that comes with my own thinking. And so that means I'm going to go down this journey that looks like a roller coaster, right? That doesn't look like everybody else's, and I'm okay with that. That might mean that to some people, right, there's things that I might do or say, or, that may not be what someone else might do, and I'm okay with it, right? And I'm able to kind of live through life just knowing that I'm building and growing on my own terms, right? So it allows me to not compare myself with someone else. And I love the fact that I'm able to support my family and my friends and whatever journey they're on, and not have this like, but what about me? No, that doesn't even come to mind anymore. But I must say it was a true journey in getting there, because it doesn't happen overnight, right? It happens when you are around people that have their own identities, and also support you in having your own identity, and then you actually taking moments for yourself in solitude, in having internal conversations with yourself, and identifying like how do you want to show up in the world, right? It's not an easy road, but it's for me the road that I needed to kind of find so that I can find my own identity, right? Um, yeah, and then when you are congratulating someone else, it comes from an authentic place, and the other person can feel that you're authentic, as opposed to being like, "Oh my gosh, I love what you're doing. I wish that I was doing that." That second sentence doesn't come out, right? It's, "I love what you're doing. How can I support what you're doing?" Right? Because there's no jealousy or I wish I was doing that. It comes from a place where it starts with you in finding your own path, and then from there you can support your community in an authentic way. So it's a journey. And I'm glad to be exactly where I am today, because I feel like I'm showing up authentically me, right?
Love it, love it, love it. Miss LaProsperous.
Yeah. I'm just gonna come from a different angle because I was fortunate to have a grandmother that walked around all damn day and was like, I's a powerful black woman, I's royalty, I's this, I's that. And not she's saying that to us as her grandkids. Homegirl believed that. So by me hearing that, my sense of self was very strong at a young age. My sense of being a dark skinned little girl was like unwavering. Like in my family, the darker you are, it was like, oh, you won the lotto. So I come from a different place when it comes to learning myself, comparison. That wasn't a thing that I can actively remember. I'm not saying I've never done it, but I cannot actively remember because there was a sense of self by me hearing her love herself in a different way, right? But what I did get sucked into was the assimilation syndrome, where you have to assimilate to society. You have to do things a certain way because that's just how it has to be done, right? And that I got into like, oh, well, when I was young, I had a very strong Guyanese accent. And I remember I used to be like, oh, Lord, I can't talk like this because the people that ain't gonna want to hire me. Because that's what I believe. Because, especially when you are in the 90s and, becoming into adulthood in the early 2000s, I'm an elder millennial. So, it's like, oh, you got to speak like the white people and you got to do this a certain way. You got to wear this thing. And, so it's like assimilation syndrome where you don't know yourself. And it's so easy to get lost because society, our parents didn't teach us to be ourselves. So that was my unlearning, was to say, well, shit, this ain't me. This don't even feel right. Why am I doing it this way? So I never really compared myself. It was realizing that I don't have to be this way to succeed. I don't have to be this way to live in this world, right? To be part of society. I can be a wanderer. I can be, nomadic. I could use joy as my compass. I can travel. I can live here. I can say, you know what? I like ideas. I want to brainstorm. I can be spiritual my way, and not assimilate to society saying this is the only way that you can succeed, or this is the only way you can be happy, or you have to be this way. Like, no, I'm a black woman that love being a black woman, that love traveling. Shit, I karaoke without a drink. I travel at the drop of a dime, and that's okay. And I still get clients and I still get to be myself. And that sense of authenticity is felt deeper than I could ever tell you. And that was my undoing, is assimilating to what society say is the right way to be and going on my journey of alignment to be fully me.
I'm gonna chime in and just say everything you just said. I completely felt that, because I just remember my family is, she's talking Guyanese. My family is also Guyanese, right? And I just remember like not being able to get a job because I said ax instead of ask,
Yeah. Oh,
right?
Real quick, you just reminded me of something. I was in the military. Yes, guys, I was in the military. Joined up a month before 9/11. I'm in basic training. I'm doing front desk. Like in the barracks, you gotta everybody rotate and do some job at some point, right? So one day I'm in the front desk and I had the night shift with a battle buddy, whoever that was. And I said, man, the drill sergeant came and said something. I was like, everybody's sleeping comfortable. He said, comfortable. Comfortable. This man went on the PA in the whole box and said, y'all better get up. Y'all sleeping too comfortable. And that was the first time I was like, wait, I'm saying this thing wrong? It made me feel so like, the hell? And since then, I have never said comfortable. It's comfortable.
Right.
Like he made me feel like I didn't like wrong for a second, you know. And it's no wrong. All we do is pronounce syllables, and that's it.
Correct.
Yeah,
Anytime. Say it your way anytime. Anytime.
Yeah.
You talk, or I'll just be like, that's right. That's right.
That's what embarrassed me.
I told her like when I first interviewed her, because I knew she was from Brooklyn, and then she started talking. I was like, "Where are you from?" She was like, "Brooklyn." I was like, "I know you from Brooklyn, but what island or country are you from? Because you have an accent or whatever. It's like a Brooklyn Caribbean accent." And she told me, and I was like, "Okay, well that makes sense." But yeah, I experienced the same thing. I'm from Louisiana, and I moved here to the DC area, and I was in acting classes, and one of my acting teachers told me I needed to take voice classes because my accent was too thick. And you never think about that. Certain things I said, I think it was because my mom will say, well, I've never said it, but she says like, "I'm gonna take a shower," and I'm like, for us, I understand what she's saying, but she's saying she's gonna take a shower. Certain, I would say, I think it was apricots. I was saying it wrong or whatever, and somebody was like, "No, it's not. That's not how you pronounce it." So my voice teacher was like really heavy on me, and I would come to class and I would talk to my mom, and I never realized how you can talk to someone and you can emulate how they're talking and you don't even realize it. And she said to me, she said, "You talked to somebody back home today, didn't you?" I was like, "What are you talking?" I was like, "Yeah, I talked to my mom and my sister." And she said, "I can tell because now you went back to your southern accent." So it was hard work to try to correct it and, recognize certain words I was saying, certain things I was saying where it wasn't coming off as southern. And it was like, okay, I kind of feel like I'm erasing parts of me to get to the goal that I want to get to. And, I certainly, again, you start emulating because I've been here for 23 years. And only time Tamika can say I can, when I'm angry, when I'm tired, and I'm hungry, it comes out really thickly. And a lot of people say, "Well, where are you from?" And I'll say Louisiana. They're like, "Well, you don't sound like you're from Louisiana." I'm like, "Well, I don't know what to tell you because I am from Louisiana." So it is what it is. But, it is that where you're in certain environments and you feel like you have to become somebody else just to fit into those spaces, which is, definitely challenging. And, kind of like Nick, my dad he always maintained and looked good or whatever. And I saw that. And my mom is the same way. But my dad also instilled in me that I was beautiful, I was pretty, I was his angel, whatever. So it wasn't too much comparison. Sometimes with my sister, it was that comparison because I could definitely see my mom loved her more because she was more of mama's girl or whatever. And it was that comparison sometimes of, well, you bought her this. Why didn't I get it? Type thing. And as I got older, it changed where it became, I don't even care. So, it's kind of, you have to change your mindset around that because everything is, when you give into it, you feed into it, and it takes pieces of you, which isn't healthy at all. So, we're going to go into the word okay because, a lot of people, when it comes to, if somebody asks, how you doing? And you say, I'm okay. And people are like, well, what's wrong? What's going on? Like, why are you okay? And sometimes being okay, that's all you got. Because it's been many times that I couldn't even verbalize how I was feeling. And okay was the only thing I could give. So we'll go with Nick.
I mean, oh, there you go. I'm with you. Okay, it's okay. I feel like we are in a society, in a time where feelings are not acknowledged the way like one of the things that I despise is catch flights, fuck feelings, or your feelings don't matter, go get the money. Like, are we not human beings out here? Are we not real? Were we not born with these things so that we can figure out what's going on in our life? And I think because of that, like, you know, okay can mean a magnitude of things. Sometimes the okay can be, it's a bad life, but I don't want to burden you. Or okay could just be like, I just feel all right. It's so much nuance and hidden meaning in that. And I think that's where people tend to ask like, are you good? Because I think we became a society where all you can say is okay because you don't know what the other person is going to do with that okay, you know. Um, and that's, I'm a big believer, like catch flights and feelings. You're meant to feel. We're meant to feel. That's how we process information. That's how we get to know ourselves on a deeper level, right? That's how we know our triggers, our joy, um, things that are yay or nay for us is through our feelings. And I think that needs to come back into the conversation. So for me, it's okay to be okay, and it's okay for okay to mean something else and be able to verbalize that.
Love it. Love it. Tamika.
I feel the same. Okay can just be okay. Maybe it's just one of those days where it is just okay. There is nothing wrong. There is nothing super special about it. And the word okay means different things to different people. If I say, oh, I'm okay, that means I'm good. I'm okay. But for like one of my sisters, if she says she's okay, I know that meant that something happened that she not ready to talk about, but she working through it, so it's just okay. So it means different things to different people, and I feel like sometimes that's all people can say to keep them going. Sometimes, look, I'm okay, and it's okay to be okay. Sometimes I may ask, how can it be better? Depending on the person, got to know the person you're talking to. But otherwise, okay is okay. So sometimes I feel like people say okay when they're really not okay. And that is because they're not ready to deal with whatever it is. Or maybe they just don't want to tell you their business. Okay is okay. I'm here. If okay is really not okay and you want to talk, what you say it to me all the time. And sometimes I know okay means okay. And other times I know that don't really mean okay, but I'm gonna let you breathe for about 2 hours and then you'll eventually tell me what's on your mind.
She will definitely, if I don't respond to how I'm doing, or sometimes I'll say I'm blah, and she's like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I'm blah. I don't have words for it. That is all I can formulate for you. I'm blah." If I say I'm okay, then she's like, "Oh, okay." She was like, "You ain't get that much sleep, right?" And I was like, "No, I ain't getting much sleep." So, definitely appreciate her always. So, Natasha.
Yeah. So for me, like that word okay in the past, I used to say it and not really mean it. Right. And it took me all the way to the place of having suicidal thoughts and, putting a knife to my hand. And so now I don't say I'm just okay. Right. I have a community of people that I can truly have those honest, real, deep conversations with and tell them, hey, this is exactly how I'm feeling. And that's not for everybody, right? Because not everybody can handle when you are going through something and to share. I am a person that if someone tells me, hey, this is what I'm going through, and they want to vent or whatever that may be, I'm a listening ear. Um, uh, you know, because again, they're sharing their experience and they're looking for a safe space. So now for me, it's um, actually I'm going through a little something at this present moment, but give me a few hours, let me get back to you. And that gives me the space for me to process, but it also gives them awareness that I am going through something, and that I will get back to them, right? So it's definitely a two-way street. The word okay, as you both were saying, it can mean so many things and you not know. But I think there's a place, as Nick was saying, we need to kind of get back to this human place of sharing truly what you're going through, because the person on the other side, we're not mind readers, right? We don't know what you're actually going through. And so if we take a step back and say, hey, we're all human, we're all going through emotions, we're all going through life, things are going to come up, it's going to affect us in a certain way. Let's make space for people to be human. Let's make space for people to communicate how they're feeling, so that they can then show up for themselves how they need to, but also show up for other community people in their community how they see fit, right? So the word okay can mean a variety of things, but I think we do need to get this human approach back to really sharing what we're truly feeling, because it betters the conversation in with people in your community. It betters the conversation with yourself because now you're being honest. And it, at least for me, it prevented me from going to a place where I didn't need to go too early, because then I wouldn't be exactly where I'm here. I'm here now, right? So I think we do need to again bring that human approach back, and really find the communities that you feel safe in, because it just makes you have better conversations with yourself and your community.
I love that. And that's very true. Where we don't really put ourselves in that place of, and for me, I think sometimes and maybe for a lot of people, they don't know how to wrap their brain around what's going on or how they're feeling or what's going on in their lives. Um, because I picked up this girl last night. I told Tamika she was actually my last ride, and she got in the car, and I felt her energy was off, and I was like, I always ask everybody how you doing, and she's like, I'm good, and I was like, Are you really? And then she was like, Sis, can I be honest with you? I was like, Yeah, girl. So she tells me, situation with her boyfriend. I felt like this was a baby boy episode. I took her to go pick up her car that he had at his side chick's house. And I'm like, Lord, please don't let nobody come out. Let me. I said, which one is your car? She was like, that one. I was like, all right. So, she did her thing to unlock it, and I left because I was like, I don't want to witness anything, shots fired, none of that. But just those conversations, because I get that all the time. People get in my car and they just start talking, and I'll say to Tamika, dang, they just got in the car and they just started talking. But sometimes that's what people need. They need a listening ear. They need somebody who's not judging them, that's just there. for them, even if it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. And, sometimes I'm like, okay, well, this is my purpose. And, to advocate, educate, and be there for somebody if I can be. I was just telling Nick the other day, and also with Tamika, I was not in a good mood the last 2 days and just frustrated. And also, I started realizing what else was wrong with me is on the 11th is the year that my cousin passed away, and I didn't really realize that it was starting to weigh on me. And I'm listening to Nick's interview because I'm trying to take pieces to post. And it was something that she said in her interview. And I was like, well, damn, maybe I was meant to listen to this. And I didn't really realize that me listening to it was helping me in a way that I needed in that moment and that time. So I was like, well, let me send her a voice note because, she probably don't even know she out here changing lives. And she, her response back, because she's always so sweet and so pleasant, and definitely appreciate her or whatever, because I know she a busy woman, like Tamika is a very busy, two busy ladies. All three of y'all are busy. But, just that in itself was just like, all right, because you get people who get to a point in their lives and they're like, oh my God, why you bother me? Because, it becomes that attitude. And I think that is just, so distasteful because I have people all the time that think I'm totally different from who I am because they see me on social media, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know what I post to make you think that I'm a certain way, but I'm not that person. If you meet me, I'm a very pleasant person. If it's something I can help you with, that's who I am. So speaking on that, how people see you on social media, just see you in general and think you're a certain person. Can you kind of talk if you've ever experienced that? And how do you know that look? So let's start with Tamika. And Tamika, I know that's been definitely you.
Yes, that's definitely been me. And now I don't care. I don't care what you think about me. So if you think what you see is who I am, that's on you. That's not on me. Because when people are watching on social media, I don't know what lens you're watching through. Are you mad at me because you mad at yourself? Are you mad at me because you see me doing something that you know you should be doing, but you're not? And so now that's the anger. Like what is it? So I don't know most of you. So whatever you think about me, I don't care. So I get DMs all the time. I don't answer not a one. So I always tell, don't DM me because I'm not going to answer it because I don't care what you think about me. I don't care. I love everybody, even the people I don't like. I love because God tell me I have to, and I really do. But don't come for me on social media because I don't care. I don't. I only care about people that know me, that love me, that those are the only people that I care about. So the trolls on social media, you can't. You be trying it. You be trying it, but you're never gonna succeed because I don't care. I actually find it quite funny. So that's how I deal with them, Lejeune. I don't because I don't care. I just don't care.
It's funny because I know you don't, and I actually had some family members say to me that what they told me that I was fake, and I was like, and these are people that I haven't seen since I was 18 because I don't go to Louisiana often at all. I went last year because my mom was sick, but and before that, the last time I was there was 2017. I don't go there often because it is triggering for me, so I don't go. Um, And I'm like, you're basing this off of what you see on social media because you don't know me. We don't talk. Okay. I don't really care. So you're basing this off of what you see and you've designed this whole narrative of who I am when we don't talk and you're DMing me, which means you ain't got my phone number. So we gonna go to Nick.
I don't post enough for anyone to run up in my DMs. So that's a good thing. I don't know if I'm doing something right. And but no, I don't have that problem, and God may I never always say if I have a hater, they're doing a horrible job, and continue exactly the way that you are, because you are not on my radar. And I don't know. For me, I don't know. I don't. Nobody runs up in my DMs. Either I'm not like ruffling enough feathers, or I'm doing something right, or I'm not posting enough. But I don't. And I think because I be in my own wanderer's world, people don't know where I'm at, so they don't approach me. I don't know if it works in my favor or not, but like I wish I could contribute to this question, but I don't got a hater. And if they're doing a bad job, I'm sorry. Continue the way you're doing it, please. Don't get better. But they're doing a horrible job because I cannot answer this question. I don't have this love in my DMs. I don't post enough. I don't know. Just say this one ain't for me. I gotta tap out.
Natasha.
Yeah, I mean, I'm similar. I'm like, I don't get the kind of the hate, I suppose, and people running in my DMs and sharing anything. I'm kind of like, and even if they did, listen, we don't know each other, right? We don't know each other, and if you did have something bad to say, then it's just really a reflection on them as a person, right? So I don't take like I don't get them, but if I did get them, then I still wouldn't take it personally because I'm on my own journey in doing something really good in society. And so if someone is trying to bring that down, ciao. Girl, it don't have, or guy, I don't know. It doesn't have anything to do with me at all because what are you really trying to break down? What positivity? Good stuff in the world? That I don't even give people like that any sort of energy at all because it's non-deserving, right? What am I feeding? I'm feeding negativity. I don't have time for that. So for me, it's just, if someone believes that I am this horrible person, and more power to you, right? Like, I don't know what to tell you. I just know what I am doing for society is good. And if that translates to someone else as bad, then sounds like personal problem, right? That and it's has nothing to do with me. I want to be able to go down the path that, like, I'm blessed by the main man upstairs, God, and he is putting me on this path to bring something good into the world. And so if there's people that are hating or whatever they're doing, thank you for the noise, because any noise is good noise at the end of the day, because whether you're talking good or bad, you're talking. And so thank you for all that you're doing, because it's only getting me further to where I need to go. And that's how I see it. I have a path that I'm on, and whatever you're doing, it's not going to impact me because I know where I'm going. And if your only way of contributing to society is by bringing people down, I'll leave that to God, right?
That part.
That's
Can I bounce something off of what Natasha said? You said something that was really good of like not even seeing it. And I don't think none of us wants to see it, right? But I also think words have power. And I never got behind I do anything for the haters, because that's where my energy was never meant to go, right? I only do things for people that are aligned with what I'm doing, who it's here for. So I think because of certain words that I use, like one of my literally everyday prayer and affirmation is, if there's ever danger, someone wants to harm me, may they never see me. So I think that's why there are just certain things I don't see, because I literally pray not to see it, and I pray not even that I see it, that they don't see me. So
Yeah.
I got people working up there for me.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can say. They're working up there because I'm like, may they never see me. And yeah, I don't know. And you know what it could be too, honestly? I think people don't realize I look one way than I think. I think people think that I am nicer than I am. And people don't realize in real life, I'm very matter of fact. So I come off in a very like, this is what it is. This is how it is. So I think, yeah, nobody wants to, I don't know. Leave me alone. Thank you. Just leave me alone. I don't even want to bring no negative. Just, I don't even want that life.
It's more so like, people ask me for money because they see me on social media. They like, hey, can I borrow money? I ain't got it.
Mm.
So they're basing it off of, okay, you have a book, you act, you have a business, you have this, you have that. And I'm like, apparently you don't know how business works. Apparently you don't know how book selling works. Apparently you don't know how a beginning actor, I don't get paid a lot. I get paid from doing, the movie. I don't get residuals from that. So they're looking at those things and, events, speaking, stuff like that. They're like, what do you mean you don't have money? I ain't got it.
But what your money got to do with them?
Right.
I understand that concept. Like, you look like you make money, so I'm obligated to your money. That's
Right.
Exactly.
And if I did have the money, I'm not obligated to give it to you.
Right, that part.
Especially if I don't talk to you. What are we talking about?
Yeah, and I don't even talk to these people, and it just became, I guess, that whole anger of, you fake, you this, you. I'm like, okay, well, I'll be there, thank you, block. So
And
I'll be whatever you think I am. At the end of the day, I know who I am, so that's all that matters. But speaking of that, people pleasing,
Mhm.
that used to be a thing for me, which stemmed from losing my dad and things with my mom or whatever, where I would allow people to say things. I would allow people, and it would be like, it's okay, and then I got healed. And that behaviors for me changed, where I realized, what, you're not that person to be stepped on. This is somebody that you love, you've been there for, you tried to help, and they're treating you like shit. So why are you keeping this person around? And I really was like, okay. And I'm okay with it. I used to not be okay with it, and it was so hard because it was like friends and family. And even with family, I was like, I'm not begging you, I'm not chasing you. And it was affecting my mental health because when it comes to my mom, I'm not close to my mom, and people say when it comes to your mom, oh well, it's your mother. Okay, well, how is it talking to my mother? It triggers me, so I rather not. And I don't, I love my mom dearly. I appreciate everything that she has done, for me and my upbringing and making sure I had clothes and food and all that. But I had to stop. And it was literally realizing just because it's your mother, it's a family member, it's your childhood best friend, do you have to really deal with what's not making you happy? So we'll go with Nick.
I think that's so powerful because there's so much instances where I hear, even in certain things in my own life, where it's like, well, it's this person, and I'm like, well, we had no choice to be in each other's life, but I have a choice, and we all have a choice of who we keep in our life, right? Not because somebody is related to you, gave birth to you, um, they're allowed to do anything to you, and that is a cycle of abuse, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, verbal, whatever it is. It's a cycle of abuse. Like, you don't get to treat me any which way, you don't get to talk to me any which way, you don't get to harm me in no way. If I don't want to harm myself, you sure as hell ain't harming me. And I also feel like that mentality is also a way to keep you subjugated, to keep you in a certain type of, or have control over you, right? And I always used to say, I remember when I was in my early 20s, I would say, damn, I love being an adult. Because the best thing about being an adult is you get choices of who you have around you. And I wish more people utilize those choices. There are certain family members that I don't speak to, I ain't got no problem with, but we are like oil and water, and you don't get to act any which way with me. You don't get to say whatever you want to me. You don't get to cause no harm to me. Nobody does. And I think once you set those boundaries, and start coming from a place of, you don't get to harm me because you are so and so, that your life becomes more peaceful, your life becomes more grounded. You get a sense of who you are, because nobody is no longer allowed to, you know do anything to you. Nobody's allowed to harm you. And when people are not harming you, other people get to pour love into you.
All that you said. Point blank period. All that you said. Yes. Natasha.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna kind of just piggyback off of Nick, which is the boundary setting is so important, and that's with everyone across the board, right? Um, because then if you're like, well, I'm gonna be like this with this person, and then someone else does the same thing, but it's maybe a parent or a best friend, then maybe I'm gonna act differently. No, it should be across the board. It should be a principle, right? As opposed to situation based. It should be, and once you kind of get to that place, then you don't get treated how you don't want to be treated. You don't stay in situations that you don't want to be in, right? You take your power back, and don't allow someone to have the control, because when someone has the control, right, it kind of feels like your shoulders are crunched, your head is down, you can't really pick your head up and kind of present yourself to the world how you want to. So it's really the boundary setting. It's okay to stop conversations with people, and it may hurt, don't get me wrong, because it's a process when you do kind of pull yourself away from people who were family that you felt were really close, or friends that you felt were really close with. But those are the emotions that we were talking about in the beginning, that it's okay to have those honest conversations and be a real human. But there's times when you do need to put your foot down, and say, hey, these are the reasons why I feel like I don't want to continue to have a close relationship with you, right? Have those honest conversations, right? Be real with, instead of, I think what's happening too is that a lot of people are just pull back, and then it's ghost, right? And then you kind of have this, I don't know what's really happening. I don't know, I'm just not that person. I listen, I'll pick up a phone call. I'll pick up the phone and have a phone call about, hey, these are the reasons why, whatever the situation may be, so that there is closure for both people, right? That's an adult, right? that's a person that's saying, hey, I want you to just be aware of, this is how this made me feel. If we can mend, fine. If we can't, fine. I'm okay with both. But the thing is that there has to be an internal boundary setting, right? First, in order for you to be able to have the confidence to have those conversations, right? And to kind of connect with your community in an intentional way. And so it's really, again, as truly what Nick was saying, set your boundaries, make it a principle, and don't allow people that you may think is family and friends into your space if it doesn't feel good. You know when it doesn't feel good. We all know when it doesn't feel good, right? So we have that internal gut feeling. So tap into that. But and don't stray away from it. Just make sure that you are being true to yourself. You're having the honest conversations, and when it's time to let go, right? And but again, have the conversations, but let go if it's not feeding you the way that you want it to.
Well, I've had the honest conversations. I've written the letters and it was unheard. So, with that, I literally had to say deuces and wish them all the best because I couldn't continue to put myself in that situation because it felt like I'm chasing, I'm begging, hey, see me, see me, see me. And I'm not that person.
Yeah.
So, you know, will always love. And I look at things now because you know how breakups happen or friendships end, and people are like, well, da 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 did this and da da da. I don't do that. I focus on the good times. Oh my God, we had a good time when we went here. Oh my God, and I look at what they poured into my life, and I think that's the thing that people have to do. They have to switch it instead of focusing on the negative of what that person did to them, how that person hurt them, how that person may didn't show up or whatever happened, and look at how they did show up. How did they contribute to your life? Because you were friends with them for a reason. And I look at the many people, friends and family, and how they contribute in my life. And I appreciate them for that and thank them for that so much. But sometimes we got to flip it. All right, Tamika, I'm scared. All right.
Well, people pleasing is never my thing. And it probably stemmed from, when both your parents die when you're 14 and you're homeless at 16 and your family act like they don't care. It's a trust thing. So that taught me boundaries. This is my boundary for myself. And that's just how it's going to be. So I've never had an issue of me trying to be with someone or be please boyfriend. It didn't matter. I was laughing with my daughter the other day because we were talking about how my uncle Chris would always say, oh yeah, we were growing up and then some dude wanted to talk to your mother and then they do something wrong and then she'd be like, next, and she'd be gone and they like, Chris, what happened? He's like, I don't got nothing to do with it. I can cut people off like it's nothing. And I don't wish anyone any bad will. There are people that I see who I know when I was homeless who walk right past me. I know these people to this day. And still it's like, oh, well, live your best life. Because again, what's my word? I don't care. I don't care. So for people who I can see why people will fall into that trap because they want to be liked or they want to be loved. And for some people who grew up like I did without having parents or family, they were in that trap because they wanted to, oh, look at me, look, I'm special, look. And I wasn't. I was the opposite. And I think it was because I was so angry that I was just like, no, if I live through this, this is how I'm going to live my life. You either like it or you don't like it. Either way, it's okay. And LeJune, I had a friend that I've known forever. And we're like this. Now we like this. And that's okay too. And it's not like, a person doesn't have to do something to you in order for you to feel a disconnect with them. Sometimes you're just growing in different directions. And that's okay too. You know, we only get one life, and I want everybody to live it on their terms. But in order for you to live your life on your terms, you got to know what those terms are. What are your terms? Not what's your mother terms for you, not what's your daddy terms for you, not what your husband or your wife. What are your terms? And until you know that, you're always going to kind of be floating from one person to the next and trying to figure out how to fit in their world. I don't want to fit in nobody's world that I'm not meant to be in. And so that's always my conversation with God. Just always put me in a path with people who I can help, who can help me, and who we can both learn and grow from each other. But all that people pleasing, I'm too old for that. It's just, I'm too old for it. I was too old for it when I was 14. I'm surely too old for it at 50. It's not happening. It's not happening, June. Mm-mm.
I keep forgetting you 50. Even though I came to up there for your 50th surprise, I keep forgetting you 50. You look great.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Because I don't be people pleasing because I don't care.
But can I just add one little thing to that? You got to think of it from this perspective. So if you think of it from this perspective, that people pleasing is not authentic, right? It's disingenuous. So you're going to attract those type of people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to please everyone and just for someone to like you, you're not being your authentic self. That is not you. So you're gonna attract people that are inauthentic.
Yes.
So that is a quid pro quo. That's what you're putting out. That's what you're getting back.
Yes, exactly. And when you don't know what you want, it's hard to attract it. So it's just like we're all magnets. And if you don't know, like if you're looking for a relationship, I had a conversation with a client the other day, and she's like, "Well, I'm this age, and I'm not married yet." And I'm like, "Okay, so do you want to be married?" And she's like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Well, you've been with the same person for 10 years. Does he not want to be married?" "No." "Well, why are you still with him? If that's what your goal is, not nothing against him, but you knew 5 years ago that wasn't what he wanted." And she's like, "Well, but I thought he'd change his mind." And I'm like, and this is 5 years later. So total of 10 years. And you wanna be married, but you're settling. So you're right, Nick. You gotta know what you want so that you can put that energy out there so that you can attract what you want. But a lot of people are putting out insecurity, and they're getting that insecurity right back. They're putting out fear, and they're getting the fear right back. And then they're wondering, why is this happening? Or they say, "I knew this would happen." Yeah, because you brought it on yourself. So know what you want.
That's definitely true. That whole mentality of I knew it wasn't gonna work in the first place. You're right. What you put out there, you're absolutely right. And just being mindful of it, because I did that in my relationship. Most relationships I was scared because, losing my dad, and I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
gonna lose them in some shape or form. Either they gonna die or we gonna break up. And that was my mentality. It's not gonna, something's gonna happen where this relationship is not gonna work. And I was always prepared for it because I got my arm on. I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's not gonna work anyway. And when it didn't, I was like, okay, I knew it anyway. But, I learned from that, okay, where is this coming from? It's coming from losing my dad, abandonment issues. And it was literally like, okay, doing a whole 360 where after that relationship, I'm going to take this time to learn myself and date myself. And I've learned so much about myself, and I'll be like, damn, I really did that. I was really like that. Wow. And having the walls up where, okay, my therapist would say, you starting to tear those walls down, that trust, because I didn't trust. Because I trust you were going to do what you was going to do. And that was my mindset. Is it a situation of, oh, this person cheated on me. No, it wasn't that. It was more so I trusted that that relationship wasn't going to last, that that person was showing me things that I was like reminding me of, okay, I feel like my mom at this moment, I'm being ignored. I'm not being heard, which affects what? It puts you in that place of you're losing your voice and you're in a relationship where I feel like I can't have serious conversations because you're ignoring me. So that trust thing was really big for me, and learning how to trust and learning to let go and learning to walk away was really big because I was attracting that. And that was who I was like, okay, I don't want to be her anymore. So, that growth is not easy. And change isn't easy, especially at this big age. It's like, dang, can I have parts of her back? But I can never have parts of her back. I can just reminisce on those parts. So, kind of speaking on that, Tamika, when it comes to change, how now you're 50,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that trust factor for you being 50, because I mean, I know your mentality of you know, you don't care. I was gonna say the other word, but yeah, you don't give a fuck. But yeah,
I don't. The trust factor, again, when you lose people, you know how this is with your dad. When you lose people, it affects your whole being. And if you don't have people around you that are solidifying, that you can trust, that the world is nice, the world is, if you don't have that, then you do not have trust. It's hard to trust people. So I was similar to you with relationships. And I remember when I met my husband, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna see the next, the can't wait to the shoe to drop. It's like, oh, what is he gonna do? And he's like, this is me. I'm always gonna be like, yeah, 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 this is you. Okay, whatever. And we've been together 20 years, married for 19, and he's literally the same person. So I think as I got older, I had to learn how to trust myself, because when I was a child and being put in situations to get, molested and stuff like that, you don't trust yourself, because here's a whole person that they say they love you and you love them. And then these things happen to you. How can you trust yourself? Because a part of me thought that it was my fault. But being older, it's like, I had no real say in who was coming to my house. What my house? It was, my mother's house or my father's house. It wasn't on me. And it took work to be able to really trust that I can make the right decisions for me. And it was hard and it was long, but it was so worth it. So now when I meet people, I can tell within the first 5 minutes. I mean, I went to an event last night, and I know when I speak to someone, not they don't even have to talk. The first 5 minutes, I can tell if they are in alignment with me and if they're not. And if they're not, that's good too, but I can tell. So I'm not going to really waste my time speaking to people that I already know. For whatever reason, God is telling me that's not for you. You just move on to the next person. And so it's freeing. Being this age, I always say, I wish I can go back in time with the knowledge I have now. I know why they say youth is wasted on the young, because you just see things differently. And I'm blessed to be this age. Neither one of my parents lived to be this age. And so right now, I mean, I love discovering things about myself. and I'm still learning. I'm still growing. You know, I'm about to do a doctoral program in July, which is crazy. And I'm just like, why am I doing this? And I went there and I was like, why am I doing this? Until I saw somebody that was 80 that's in our same cohort. And I was like, he was like, well, I know you're not talking young. And I'm like, well, you're 80, so all right, I'm gonna just let you have that. Just let you have that. So I can't complain to you. So I'll just complain to my kids when I get out of here. Like, you know, life is just, it's so wonderful. And I think sometimes people get so busy. We talked about this, LaJune. People get so busy just doing and doing, and we got to do this and we got to do this. And they're not being and just enjoying. Life is definitely a gift. And now that I'm this age and the kids are grown and they're out of the house, so I have time to just enjoy. And I'm just so blessed. I'm so blessed. Look at that. I get to be in all shades of this beautiful brownness. What's better than that? What's better than that?
Sexy brown here. Yes.
Fabulous women. Like that, to me, that is huge. That is not a small thing, to be in the space with beautiful, intelligent Black women. I know there are a lot of us out there, but you know, it's just a blessing. It's a blessing.
100%. We're gonna go to Miss Natasha with trust.
Yeah, so trust, it definitely starts with yourself. So yeah, I agree with Tamika. It's like you have to be able to trust yourself in order to know what feels right, what doesn't feel right. And then when you're having conversations with other people, then you can kind of gauge, this doesn't feel right to me, that feels right to me, and you can find your community, right? But as I was saying earlier in the conversation, it is a journey to figure out how to trust yourself, right? There's a lot of ups and downs, and there's a lot of, well, you know, with, you know, the communities that don't align with you. I don't think you should be doing this. I don't think you should be doing that. You should be thinking this way and not that way. And it's sticking to your guns and saying, there's something I need to learn in this experience. And let me continue to be present here, because I don't know why I needed to have this experience, right? And that may not be, you know, other people may not be able to connect with that, right? Because maybe they had a different experience and they don't know why you're doing what you're doing. But it's really for you to be able to say, there's something I need to learn here. Why was I even put in this situation? It has to be something I need to learn, right? And so from that, be able to say, okay, now this is how I'm able to trust myself. This is how I'm able to, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what I needed to learn, unlearn. And then that's when you're able to go into friendships and partnerships with a different lens, right? And finding alignment in the things that you like and they like, and how you guys can support each other. But it really starts with you, right? The individual. It starts with how you kind of make yourself feel safe and heard. It starts with you. And so once you get to the place where you are feeding yourself with the things that you need to heal, the things that you experienced in the past, then you're on the right road, man. And you're the only person that can tell yourself, am I on the right road or the wrong road, right? And I don't want to go right and wrong. And listen, you are on the road that you're supposed to be on. You're experiencing the things that you're supposed to experience, and they're all for either learning, right? It's for you to learn or unlearn, and that's it. And it's in order for you to be able to trust yourself and to live the life that you are building for yourself. That's it.
All right, we're gonna go to Hershey chocolate, Nick. This just look like a smooth Hershey chocolate bar, man.
I've been moisturizing like it's a system right now. I am going to age like Benjamin Button. Let me tell you, it's real over here, people. I'm grateful to be aging, but this is gonna be a controlled environment. Um, but perimenopause kicked in. What was the original question? The fall kicked in
Well,
at the
Lisa,
wrong time. And I want to sit here pretending and go left. So, what was the original question? Or
question was about trust, how trust looks for you in your life.
okay, for me, trust is equivalent to self-exploration. Like I always say, nobody teaches us to be us, right? So, lack of self-trust to me makes sense for most people. You trust everything outside of you because you can see that with your own eyes. Nobody teaches us to go inward, to trust ourselves, to trust our intuition, to trust our path, our purpose, our gift, all these things, right? So when I think of trust, my mind always say you need to go on a journey of self-exploration, right? Because when you understand yourself, you begin to trust yourself. You begin to trust your purpose. You begin to trust your gifts. You begin to trust your place in this world, and therefore you trust yourself on a different level that allows you to trust or not trust people for who they are. I always say I don't see potential in you, I see what you choose to show me,
Mhm.
right? Because if I see your potential, I'm trusting you more than you trust yourself. Now I can support you on your journey, but I can't trust you more than you trust yourself. And that's where I would come when it comes to trust. Is for those that don't feel like they could trust themselves, is to go on a journey of self-exploration. There's no timeline for this. It's the little things that you do, the little things that you follow your intuition, see where it takes you, right? Do something that just feels good. Understand yourself, feel. We were talking earlier about that human experience, and bringing back the feelings, bringing back, what makes you angry, what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what pisses you off, what's like, get the out of my face before we start throwing hands. Those matter because then you know what your triggers are. Like nobody ain't catch you off guard. Like no lie. Recently, I got cussed out in TJ Maxx randomly. Randomly, it was the most weirdest shit ever. And don't get me wrong, I cussed back, but after the cuss out, I was like, he going through some things. I felt good. But I trusted myself to let it go because I know myself. But no, all jokes aside, I do. For me, trust is a journey of self. Once you can trust yourself, and you learn that through understanding and self exploration, you get to trust your world around you. You get to trust that you're making the right decisions for you. You get to trust that you know what is good for you outside of ego and fear and doubt and insecurities.
I love everything that all of you ladies have said. I'm from a small town in Louisiana, and I did not see many, besides teachers, black women, teachers are, somebody that was an administrative at the hospital or something like that. I never saw women of power. I went to college in Dallas, and I saw professors, black professors, women. Um, Moving here to the DC area, seeing so many black women accountants. Natasha's an accountant. CPAs, I mean, doctors, lawyers, all these positions. And I first started my business in 2010, personal training and health and wellness. A girl from Louisiana, did I ever think that that was something I would do? I knew I wanted when I graduated high school, I always said I wanted to be a therapist. I wanted to be in psychology, something like that. Which what I do is in the mindset psychology form, and just meeting women like you and having this platform where other Black women and girls can see women like us and how we've grown and changed and made transitions in our lives to be who we are today is a powerful thing. And I just want to thank you, ladies, for being here, sharing your stories, being a voice to so many people. Because for me, for years, I didn't have a voice because, I told my mom at the age of 7 my cousin was molesting me, and that was ignored. And it was always to me keeping things as they're not going to care. It's not going to matter. They're not going to understand. And being able to fight through that, where God told me, stop being embarrassed about being molested. Be the voice for so many other women who've been molested and sexually assaulted, who's dealing with health issues from their traumas, to show up for them. Because, like Tamika talked last week, a lot of women obesity stems from molestation and sexual assault or some form of trauma. Suicidal ideation, Natasha talked about 2 weeks ago. She and I talked about that. I experienced that. And it's so many things, lupus, diagnosis. A lot of people don't want to go to the doctor because, oh, well, I don't want to pay the copay. So you rather deal with the hospitalization that's going to be higher or ignoring it. And we don't want to deal with the fact that knowing is better than not knowing. And it's so important to know before you get to stage 4 and it's too late. So please start going, get those checkups, you get them little pains. If you feel like you ain't heard, see another doctor. Keep finding somebody until you can find somebody. Same thing with a therapist. If that therapist don't work for you, find you a therapist that works for you. Therapist, as we said last week, is not one size fit all, because I got a money therapist and I got a mental health therapist. So get the help that you need. If you're dealing with grief, see somebody. Don't try to hold it in and try to manage through life, and it's not going to work, because I did it for 40, well, not 40 years, 30 some years. And until I went to Bali to a retreat that really helped me deal with and come to terms with the grief and abandonment issues tied in together. And a lot of people don't realize that, but don't just manage, because that's what we do in our community. Somebody dies and the next day the world goes on. But how do you feel about losing that person? How does that show up for you? So get the help that you need. Stop ignoring your emotions. As Nick said, we are human beings. We are not robots. We are people. We have feelings. We have emotions, and we have to deal with things even if it's hard, if it don't look pretty. Having those conversations, as Natasha said, having those hard conversations is not easy, but at the end of the day, you'll know where you stand with that person, and that is absolutely okay, because seasons expire just like milk. It's okay. So we're gonna wrap up. Any last words, Coach Tamika?
If you need help, please go and get help. It is not okay if you're not okay. You cannot be the best you that you can be if internally you are struggling with anything. That is not how you want to live life. You want to be able to feel, not to just going through day to day. So, whatever you need help with, please get the help. If you don't know where to start, if you don't know, reach out, coachtamika.com. and I will give you resources. I don't care where you live. You can be in China. I got a resource for you. But you have to get the help, because I am really tired of seeing wonderful Black women dying too soon because they let the stereotypes control their life. And I lost a lot of friends in 2025, and they were my age and younger because of stress. Stress will kill you. So please, please, please get the help that you need. And we're here to help you. LeJune can help you. Nick can help you. Natasha can help you. We're here to help. And what we can't help with, like I said, I have resources for you. You're not alone, and you don't have to keep suffering alone.
All right. Natasha. Natasha had a new big age too. I forgot to say that. Her birthday was in March.
Yes, yes.
She grown now.
Happy.
Thank you. The 40 plus two, it's this was add the extra two on the end. But yeah, I feel like to everybody, stress is a real thing, right? And it shows up in your body and it stays in your body, and it impacts you in ways that sometimes, you go to a doctor, they don't even know, right? And so it's really important that you take moments of pause, right? To breathe, to reach out to a sister to that feels safe, reach out to your community. And if you don't have that, take a moment with yourself and ask yourself, what do you need, right? Tap into how you're feeling and what emotions are coming up, and then be able to reach out to the your community and figure out how they can help. Um, but also go to herplum.com, right? Go to herplum. It's a community of women that's really just focused on helping each other. And so we do have, emails with tools of helping you how to breathe, and being able to tap in and build a routine of how you actually can support your mental health. So everybody on this call can help in in various ways, right? Whether it's us helping or us, referring you to someone else. It's so important that we support our community in this area, because a lot of us are not acknowledging that we are stressed, and we're just kind of going about our day. So please take a step back, and really do a internal, a personal check-in, and figure out where you are. Because once you know, then you then can take the steps for you to heal. So go to herplum.com, join the community, and let's all come together and support women as they go through their healing journey.
Nick.
Oh my God, I love everything that you all said. I think it's so powerful and so needed, right? Especially it coming from Black women, where we know in this environment, in this day and age, especially if you're from the U.S., where the job losses and the femicide amongst the Black community and all these things. I want every and anyone that's listening to this that you are not Nike. You are not born just to do it. Okay? It's okay to go through it. It's okay to take a pause. It's okay to say, I need help. It's okay to be transparent. I think we got into this space where it's like you're a machine and you just go, 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 go. And that is not healthy to not only the human body, but the human mind, the human soul, the human spirit. Um, and also, it's okay to drop the super woman, strong woman mentality, because you can use strong as a tool, but it doesn't have to be your identity. It was never supposed to be your identity. So, like everyone else say, step back, tap in with yourself, take a rest, take a breather, say, this ain't for me, and that's okay. I want you to understand how powerful you are, because with power, you can see where you need help. You can say, this is who I am. You have more access to all the emotions, all the feelings, all the help, all the resources that everyone here is giving you. So when you go to Lejeune and Tamika and Natasha and get yourself together, you come to me so we can get you aligned and back on track to your human experience. So follow me at Nicola Prosperous on Instagram, all the social media stuff, or the brainstorm investing. I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet, but go on one of those. But yeah, that's what I gotta say. You're not Nike, and when somebody tell you just do it, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no.
That part, period. That's yeah, yeah. All of that. You can find me at lejeunesingleton.com. Again, I work with individuals with injury recovery, which is hard because I'm recovering from injuries from my car accidents, and I'm not that person that can sit still. But some people, they do get stuck and they're like, well, my shoulder, I can't do it. I can't do this no more. I can't do that. Physical therapy and mindset. So you have to change that. You can't let that determine who you are, as La Prosperous has always said. But you have to live life no matter what. Don't get stuck in that. It is depressing because it was depressing three back to back, and then the year before, and the year before that. But I got up and I kept moving because those accidents weren't going to define my life and who I am and my purpose in this world, in this community. So, injury recovery, childhood trauma, mindset, health, wellness, nutrition. I'm here. If you have a child or yourself, special needs, autism, I'm here because I just think it's important to help the community learn things that they don't know. Because like I said, I'm from a small town, and hey, I saw people eating unhealthy and they like, I'm gonna die anyway, so I'm gonna enjoy what I want. Hell no, that ain't me. No, or I'm not popping pills just to put a band-aid over anything. I'm gonna figure out and research and talk to Coach Tamika about what do you think I should do. So if you need that avenue, she is definitely great when it comes to supplements and things like that. Because I don't work in the supplement area, that's her thing. I'm more of helping you understand gut sensitivity and the foods that you're eating that's not healthy with all these fake plant-based things. So that's me. So, and then you got Nicola Prosperous, like she said, once you are in alignment and you're in a healing place, she's gonna help you get to that next level. Her plum, she gonna help you understand your feminine needs. And Coach Tamika is Coach Tamika, and I love her so much for what she does. So again, I thank you, ladies, so much for your time, for the gems that you dropped, and just looking at y'all beautiful chocolate ladies. I'm just like, oh my God, y'all so pretty. Had to bring the southern side out. Y'all so pretty. So until next time, this is Mind, Health, and Wellness with June. Thank you so much, and thank you for checking us out. Till next time.